Gately Real Estate and the Online Real Estate Academy. This is going to be a different type of video about why it took me 19 years to get my real estate license and why it was such a big mistake. It hurts so bad, and I hope that you can learn from my example so that you don't have to go through the same pain I did. I'm coming to you right now from Beacon Hill, a little playground here on Myrtle Street, because the thought of first getting my real estate license occurred to me in 1992. I had just rented an apartment here on Beacon Hill, at 49 Garden Street, a little sub-basement apartment. It was a loft type of thing because I was working. I had just got my first real job as an adult at the State House. Actually, that wasn't my office. That's the governor's office I pointed to. I started off at a cubicle and I eventually worked my way up to a windowless office of my own. But no, I didn't start at the corner office. So anyways, I rented this apartment on Garden Street. I remember the guy who rented it to me. He was Mark. I won't use his last name, but I remember his last name as well. And I remembered the process. He was explaining the process to me, that there's always a rental fee, and it's almost like the same dialogue that still exists today. And I started to think maybe I could rent apartments, but I was so committed to the State House job that I had always wanted for years, I didn't do that. So instead, after working at the State House for a year or so, I was hungry to make some more money, because working for the government, you don't really make a lot of money, although it was a really entertaining job, lots of fun working there. I instead got a part-time job working at the local sub shop that was in between my apartment on Garden Street and the State House. And that was kind of the easy way out. I'd get out of work at 5 o'clock and then I could run home, change into t-shirt and jeans, and show up at the sub shop at 5:30. Primo's here on Myrtle Street, just steps away from this little playground. And it was so easy. What I really should have done, and I don't think I had the confidence in myself to do it, was find Mark, who rented me the apartment, track him down, because his office was literally just down the hill in the other direction. And I should have just went in there and said, Mark, tell me more about this opportunity. Can I find a way to do this maybe part-time while I also keep my State House job? Because I was living right here on Beacon Hill. I knew plenty of people from the state. I knew a lot of people from the State House that needed apartments. It would have been a perfect fit, but I didn't do it. Up to be a colossal mistake, because on Charles Street there's so many different real estate agencies, so much opportunity, and you can't look back, right? You can't look back. But if I had started 30 years ago, or what now would have been 31 years ago, where would I be now? Even if I was just renting part-time apartments on Charles Street starting in the early 90s, wow, what a difference that would have made for my entire career. But live and learn. So my next big opportunity came in the late 90s, 2000s, where my wife was working for like one of the biggest commercial real estate agencies in the country, still are. She didn't have her license at the time, she has her license now, but she was working there as in a support role, and she was working for these guys doing biotech leasing, and she was telling me about all these other people there that were making so much money as commercial real estate brokers, and I absolutely, positively had the opportunity to go in there and sit down, and they probably would have cut me a break, or but we knew them, right? You know what I'm saying? And I didn't do it. And that was not just like a one-off, someone just said, why don't you come into the office someday? No. That was like a 3-year opportunity they offered, and I don't think I really believed in myself that I could do that. I was about to, or had just gotten married, and wow, what a
what a colossal mistake. Yeah, I mean, I was like, I had the inside track, right? I had connections for once in my life, and I wasn't used to having connections, so I didn't really understand what that opportunity meant. But yeah, so it ended up, instead of, I made the second mistake again, which is I took a very short-term look at things, and I actually got married, and shortly thereafter I took a job selling cable internet, which was new at the time, door to door. Huh, what an idiot. Then I took a series of sales jobs, which I never really liked, but I did okay. Went a cruise to the Caribbean one year. I did all right, but I was never happy. In fact, as I look back, I always was thinking about real estate, and I always thought that I was the most happiest in the job that I had was actually when I was a kid delivering newspapers. That I loved that job more than anything else, except for what I do now. So finally, in between sales jobs, I took this job, you're not even going to believe this, I took this job measuring doors in 2007 and 2000, just before the great financial crisis. And I know, measuring doors, Jack, what does that mean? It means if you went to Home Depot and ordered a new storm door or entrance door or interior door, I was the guy that drove out there and measured it up so that when it was in time to install it, the installer had everything he needed to do the job on a one visit. So I was like the door whisperer. I've literally measured hundreds of thousands of doors. Completely, absolute dead-end job. And then when the great financial crisis hit in 2008, I got stuck doing that because I desperately needed the money and there weren't any of those sales jobs around that I used to have. I got stuck doing it for almost 7 years, 2010 was absolutely the worst year for me. And as 2011 came along, it's like, oh my God, I've got to do something additional. And so that's when I finally went back and got my real estate license. And I did it at a time when I desperately needed to be successful rather than doing it when it was something that would have been an add-on, something that I had time to grow. That would have been smarter. But instead, I desperately needed the extra money. 2010 was, that was really tough. And so I started renting apartments part-time. This is actually my old real estate office right there, right? It's not even a real estate office anymore. I think it's an apartment now, but I started renting apartments out of this office here on Commonwealth Avenue. We're just north of Harvard Avenue, and started renting apartments there part-time in 2011. Thank God I needed the money. And then basically in 2014, 3 years later, became a broker, and the story goes on from there. But 19 years from when it first dawned on me to when I actually got my license. Don't do that to yourself. I just think about all the opportunity I missed by not starting earlier. Not that I can make up for that, I understand, but yes, earlier is better. What do I say? Early's on time is late. And so you can't start early enough, but I'm also proof that if you start late, you can still be successful. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm Jack from Jack Hately Real Estate and the Online Real Estate Academy. See you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.